Greetings, welcome back to Pink Oddbird. So, what you might notice is some of you may have already seen this journal. It was a finished journal. It is my Tsunami Rose design team project for June, and after a little bit of consultation with my good buddy Dolly, who is GipsyrosePaperie, we decided that maybe this book wasn't completely done. Maybe there was a little bit more that could be added. Maybe there are a few modifications and tweaks that we can make. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we can do here. So the first thing that she pointed out to me was that this butterfly, there was no contrast between the butterfly and the background collage. And that was one thing that I actually realized after I finished the book. And she pointed that out to me as well. So we're going to take care of that. We're going to take care of maybe doing a little bit more to the cover and then maybe getting some more things added into the book. So let's go ahead and take a look. So the first thing that she talked about was maybe adding some more things to the cover, maybe adding a little lace pocket down at the bottom. So I went into my stash and I found this super pretty lace, and I thought this would be a good choice, and so we talked about it and she's like, yeah, that one's perfect. So I'm going to just go ahead and cut down a piece that's going to fit along the cover of this book. Since this book is already completed, you do want to make sure that if you're going back in to revamp or remodel your book, you open it flat. While you glue these things down, don't do it while it's closed, because your fabric will become ruched, I guess is the word, if you don't do it while it's flat. So while I'm getting ready to glue that down, I do want to talk about the purpose of this video. Of course, it's a Fly the Coop Friday video. We're doing things where we learn, where we might try something different. And in this particular case, it's taking constructive criticism from your friends, the people that you trust, maybe even family members if you don't have any crafty friends yet. If you don't, I suggest that you do get some, because having crafty friends is always beneficial to you, because they do the same things that you do, and they love the same things that you do, and they have good insight, and they have a good eye for these kinds of things. I get help from all of my friends all the time, and before I met these ladies, I was making all these choices on my own just fine. You don't have to, but sometimes when you might think you're done with a book, or you're not sure about a book, maybe you've put a book up for sale and you're curious, why isn't my book selling? It's always nice to be able to have friends that you can turn to and they can give you some constructive criticism. Okay, so now that we've got the lace glued down, we're just going to let that dry while we work on rectifying these butterflies. So what I did was I took a page from the digital kit and punched out some butterflies. I'm just trying to see what color is going to look best, what color is going to give us the best contrast and help this butterfly stand out a little bit more than what it does. The butterfly that is on the page originally came in Happy Mail, so I don't have that exact butterfly, but that's okay, because I'm just going to layer on some of these other butterflies until we find a contrast that is a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. So I'm thinking about the pinks that are in these little flowers. There's a light pink and there's a darker pink, so maybe we should try focusing on those two pinks. I know Dolly suggested that maybe this butterfly should be pink, so I think what I'm doing now here is I want to see, I've got a little bit more of a brighter pink that matches the brighter tone in that little flower, and then there's also the more pastel pink, so I just want to try it out and see which one looks better. So like I was saying before, while I'm doing this part here, I'll continue talking. I do get help from my friends sometimes. There are people who contact me sometimes for help. It's all just one big circle, and that's why we're called a junk journal community, because we all help each other. You know, I give out my advice to some people, people give me their advice, and it's just one big, knowledge exchange, I guess. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to get help. It doesn't matter. I've made tons of journals, and sometimes, as you can see, maybe I don't get it right every single time. And so that's why it's important to have friends or someone that you can at least ask and give you an opinion that's a helpful, constructive bit of criticism. And as you can see, my struggle is absolutely real with these butterflies. Alright, so at this point I was really struggling with which butterfly to have as the top layer butterfly, and I couldn't get a hold of any of my friends at this point, so I asked my mother and my sister which one they thought looked better, and they gave me their advice. So I'm just layering up the butterflies, and this is going to be what it is. The good news is since these are just punched out butterflies, if at some point I decide I wanted to change it, I can always just punch out another butterfly and glue that on top and just continue layering. So with these little extra butterflies, I'm going to take these all, and I have this little fabric envelope that I made, and I just want to put those inside. So I'm collecting these up now. And we're going to put this cute little envelope in our front pocket. So now the next part is me figuring out how I can keep this tiny envelope closed. So I had an idea about grabbing one of my little paper clips and then my other Martha Stewart butterfly punch and punching out 2 butterflies out of the digital kit. So I pulled out my digital kit page here, and then I remembered that I actually have a scrap page where I punched out those butterflies that I used for the front cover. And if you get these just right, you can actually find spaces in them where you can still get more usage out of them and punch even smaller butterflies out of them. So I try not to waste whenever possible. So that's a really great little tip to look for when you're using your punch outs. Alright, so I'm just taking my 2 little butterflies, just dressing those a little bit. Now I'm just going to take my glue and the tiny little paper clip that I found and sandwich the paper clip with the 2 butterflies. There may be a better way to do this, and there may actually even be a tutorial on how to really do this, but this was the best way that I could think of doing this at this moment in time. So I just was really kind of improvising. So I'm just going to glue one side of one butterfly and then sandwich it together and make a little topped paper clip, I guess. I don't really know what you call them, but that's what I was aiming for with this idea. And now that I have this, it will be the perfect closure for my tiny envelope. So this will help it stay closed, and also I know I could have probably put it facing the other way, like against the book, but I kind of like the look of the flap facing forward better. Alright, so this is what we have so far on our remodeled cover. So now I'm pulling out some of my pearl trims, and you can't really see it, but I'm trying them out and just trying to see if I want to use any of these anywhere on the cover, and I think ultimately I'm kind of going to decide that I don't want to, but it doesn't hurt to just pull out what's in your stash and try it out. Try using some of your supplies in different ways, you know, see what works, see what you like. Maybe it's too busy, maybe it's not, I don't know. I guess it's up to your discretion. And so I pulled out my buttons instead, and I found these 2 buttons, and I think I'm going to decide on those 2, which you can't see because I'm out of frame a little bit. So I decided on those 2 buttons, so let's go ahead and clean these up. And then here you can see up at the top in the right corner, I've decided to use those 2 buttons just to add something, you know, another little dimension of texture. And I liked the way these buttons looked because they kind of match with the, like they have a similar design to what's in the lace that we've added to the cover. So I thought that was really pretty. So these buttons it is. So as you can see, the cover is starting to shape up a little bit better than what it was. So I do appreciate all of the feedback that you gave me on that, Dolly. Very much appreciated. So now what I'm going to do is come in with the remainder of my digital kit piece that I printed out, and you can see how much you can still get out of even what's left. The first strip that I used, obviously you saw, to punch out butterflies. Now I'm going to use this bit of strip to make 3 little tags. So once again, I'm trying things out. I added the 3 tiny little tags here to the front cover to see if I wanted to have them there maybe, but I'm not sure. I feel like it looked a little bit busy, but we'll get back to that. Right now, I'm showing you that dark gray closure that I had on the book. Dolly suggested that I brighten it up with a little bit more of a lighter color closure, and so ultimately we decided on this silk closure. So that to me looks a lot better. I originally chose the dark gray because I felt like Daisy's kits have a lot of black in them, so I felt like it would bring it out, but there isn't really a lot of black on the cover. So to me, this like more neutral tone is a better choice. And even though it's a TN, so you could potentially leave it with the closure or not if it's inside of a notebook. So now I just want to take these little tags out, move my envelope over a bit to give it a little bit more balance on the front cover. And then now that I've taken those little 3 tags out, I forgot that I actually had this pocket here on the back. So I just decided to put those in the back, and I thought that was actually really cute and really perfect. So I'm glad that I did remember I had a pocket on the back of the book. Alright, so the next thing that I wanted to do here was to get the rest of this digital kit broken down and used as ephemera somehow in the book. So I'm breaking it down in ways that I see fit. In this particular case, I felt like this piece of the paper would look nice as a little foldy journal spot, I guess. So that's what I'm doing there. And then I'm just going to break down the rest of these and turn them into tags and such. Okay, now that I've got my tags all cut out here, as you can see, I was able to get a pretty good amount of tags. I've got all of those there, plus the 3 on the back of the book. The first thing that I want to do to figure out where I want to put this ephemera is to do a little flip through of my book and see if there are any pockets or any places in the book that look like they could use a little bit of layering in the pockets, if that makes sense. Sometimes there may be just one item in a pocket, but there's room for another item, or maybe it'll look nicer if you add another piece of ephemera there to layer up with the item that's already in that pocket. So I'm flipping through to see where in this book might there be a space where I feel like, hey, this could be layered. So here I found one spot where there's a lot of blankness at the top of the page, so I chose the longer tag and decided to add that there and layer that up. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish doing that through the book. So I'm satisfied with where I have found new homes for the new ephemera in this book. And I'm taking these last couple of little pieces that I have left over and adding them into this envelope. with these two little swatches of lace that I have, which you can find these envelopes in my shop as well. And I feel like these are nice little ways that you can have extra pieces and extra bits that you can use in the journal, put them where you see fit. So just added those two pieces of ephemera in there as well. But wait, there's more. I found this really cute little scissors charm in my stash, and I decided to add that to a little garment pin and see what that would look like attached to the sari silk. Alright, so I like the way that looks. I was also mentioning here that you can take that garment pin off and add it to any of the tabs or ruffles that are inside the book, and then I decided maybe what would it look like if you wanted to also attach it to the lace that's on the front cover of the book. So that looks cute too. So just trying different ways, different places, and see how it looks. Just this is how you have to create. You just got to mess around. And again, all I want to do here is just flip through, find some homes for these little other pieces of ephemera that I found, some tickets and some other little things. And I also found a little button card that I thought was really cute, so I stuck that in there. Okay, my friends, I think we are to a point where I'm actually pretty happy with how this is looking now. And I know for sure that I'm done with the outside. Like I said, I may go back and add a few more things to the inside. I'm not sure. But yeah, so I'm super happy with how this has turned out. And I'm really happy and grateful that I had, the open-mindedness to take the feedback and advice from someone who I trust their opinion and insight. I encourage you all to do the same with your friends, and a big thank you to all my friends. That's going to wrap it up for me, guys. If you have any comments, make sure to leave them down below. Until next time, toodaloo.